Ah, yes. Well, it's a good thing I started now because Nigel must be bored. He's been here since 2:45 p.m. Pacific time, which I don't know, remember what time that is in New Zealand, but damn, how's it going, everybody? Yeah, this is what part are we on? 6. We're going to do some decals. You guys know me as Gun the Morning Works, and we're live. Yeah. So how's it going, Nigel? Too early again. Yes, you're a little bit early. 3 p.m. Oh, yeah, well, I guess that's almost what time it would be here if it start the show. But anyway, I'm going to go down here to the down look here so you can kind of see everything before we go close. Oh, before I go, let me go back up here. Sporting a new shirt. Got my new shirt. Just a sample here today. Got a small logo on the front. Big logo on the back. Yeah, I kind of like it. I may have to make some more and maybe have some stuff to sell some shirts. Good, thanks, bro. Just finished Stone Walk on Retaining. Oh, good. You finished it finally? Finished the Stone Walkway? That was a pretty big project. A lot of heavy lifting, a lot of backbreaking work, and I am not interested in anymore at my age. So we're gonna go down here. Gio pop in. Oh, where's Giovanni? Oh, there he is, Giovanni. Good. Glad you're here, buddy. I got a question for you. You can answer in the chat if you want. I would appreciate it. But we talked privately about the gun pod, right? And whether you wanted the logos legible or upside down. Oops. But I just noticed something I want to ask you again because in the instructions here, the decal layout, they show one side legible and in this mode. Let me move this aside here. I'll show you the other side. So you can see you got one here that's right side up while he's holding the gun pod, and then the other one upside down here. So I guess the way they've designed it was if the gun pod is mounted under the Valkyrie, it would be legible on one side, and then also when it's being held, it would be legible on one side. So if you still want them both the same direction, just let me know. Otherwise, I will do it like the guide here. So you can tell me in the chat before. I'm not going to put those on just yet, but you can let me know. Excuse me, I have done a few to get started. A few decals. Oops, gosh, I keep wanting to go down here. What's up? What's up? We just got Gio, and then we got Manny. How's it going? Or Julius, excuse me. Sorry, not Manny. Julius. How's it going, Julius? Good to have you, as always. So, yeah, let me know, Giovanni. Let me know in the chat if you want to keep it the same way with both of them the same direction, or if you want one flip-flop to follow the actual guide. We'll do that. So I got a couple of decals started. We'll show this too. I did part of the cockpit here. Let me go down to the close-up now that we got all that out of the way. You need to go to the gym. You don't need to go to the gym. Yeah, definitely not. Not after all that heavy lifting. So got a couple here done. It's basically just the top of the nose and this nice black stripe. Makes it a lot easier than trying to mask that off. In some cases, I would mask it. In this case, it was easier just to use the decals, especially if you got everything lined up properly. And the second piece I've started is one of the wings here. So you can see the Macross kite logo Now, one of the things that I like to do, and this is something everyone should do, I think, is what I think is best. All right. Well, I mean, you tell me. It's your project. You tell me. Is decals represent painted logos, right, on any aircraft or any model kit for that matter. And panel lines should travel through them because they're obviously painted on. You wouldn't have a sticker covering up a seam in a panel or something like that. So well, you can see what I've done is after applying this decal, I've gone back and rescribed where and used some softener to allow the decal to sink down into those little details. So every single panel line should still be visible. You can see particularly the one going straight through the center. And so that's what we'll do on the entire kit. Another thing is it's kind of hard to see on the very tip of the wing here on the front, the orange strip there, you can see 3 no step labels. Now that is one single decal. It was kind of confusing to me when I was looking at the instructions because it only shows an arrow pointing to one and numbering it. And I was like, well, what's the other number? But I didn't realize that they made a strip with several decals. They did that throughout the wings and stuff. It made it much simpler to put all these no-step decals on, because if I were to count them all right now, let's see here. There are, oh geez, can't even see the white ones because they're against a white card. It's kind of hard to see, but we've got 2, 4, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. About 50 or more of these no-step decals need to go on. Now, some of these along the bottom here are single decals, and those have to be applied one at a time. But then you've got a couple here that are in pairs, some that are in 3s or even 4s, which make it way easier to knock out some of these, especially on, I think that's just primarily the wing tips or the wing surfaces and stuff like that. So not too bad. Pretty straightforward. Everything has been gloss coated. One of the question that comes up quite often is, should you gloss coat before applying decals? I'm a believer in gloss coating because you get a nice flat surface, nice smooth surface before you put your decal on. If you don't, you'll end up with a better chance of silvering, which I have a little bit on this decal. Even though I have a gloss surface, I've got a little bit here I've got to take care of. That's on that strip with those 3 no-step logos there. There is a little bit that I've got to apply some softener to and kind of take out those little bubbles, because silvering is basically an air bubble underneath a decal that looks like silver, kind of glints like silver. Always cut decals through the panel line. Yep, pin wash over them. Very cool. Yep, glad you agree. It's the way it should look. It should look like it's painted on, and it will look like it's painted on when we're done. Because after I do this, I'll shoot over this with a gloss coat again, seal everything in. That'll also level the thickness variances between the decal and the paint, and then when we do a flat coat over the top, final flat coat, everything will look smooth and painted on. It'll be nice and clean. Let's see. Excuse me. What else? Oh, some might ask too, do you just gloss in the area that you're going to put the decal on? You could do that, but I prefer not to, and here's why. Because when you do your final flat coat, if you have a section of that piece, if the whole surface that is just gloss where the rest is not, there will be a difference in the sheen. Even though the whole thing is flat, you will see a noticeable difference between those two areas. So I recommend doing the entire surface. Now, I didn't gloss the bottom of this because there's no decals that go on the bottom. There's no sense wasting that clear coat necessarily, unless I'm sealing, panel lines or something like that. I could do that. But I'm only glossing the surfaces that are going to get decals, and then I'll do shoot the whole surface again after that. So I am going to take some of the softener. I'm going to try to get rid of this. There were some bigger marks, silvering there, but I'm going to just put a little bit on here. You can see it pop through, especially when you put this on. And all I'm doing is taking, excuse me, a little edge on my razor, and I'm just basically piercing that surface a little bit, just enough for that softener to flow underneath, and it will get in there and soften up the rest of the decal and get rid of that silvering. It's not going to scratch, not enough to scratch the surface. I'm just basically barely touching it to kind of go through the decal. And then we'll take our Q-tip and roll it off again. Yep, just about got it. Need a little bit more. Wolfpack, what's going on? Sensei. Am I? What's going on, man? Konnichiwa. Are you in Japan right now? Is that why you're greeting us in this fashion? Appreciate it. Good to have you. Clear before, clear after. It unifies the whole surface. Yes. That's basically what I said. It takes care of that thickness variance, because when you apply a decal, no matter how thin the carrier film is on a decal, it's still going to be a noticeable edge right where that decal ends. And if you just flat coat over it, or especially if you just clear coat only, clear gloss, you're more apt to see that line. In fact, some of the photos that I put up for the previous Valkyrie on one of the video shorts, you can really see the line around the 102. That was because I hadn't actually gloss coated over it or done the flat coat at that point. It was just a shiny surface with. I didn't realize these weren't glued in yet. I should glue these in. Might as well. We're not going to be taking them apart again, so I might as well do that too. All right. Put a little dab of glue in here. Slide this back in. There we go. All right. All right. So the next decal to go down is another set of the no steps. And it's actually, there's one decal up here in the front. It has 3. So I've done 3 at this part of the wing. There's another 3 that are going to go down here. And that's what we'll be cutting out next. Busy. Also provides a bit of wiggle room if the decal fails and you need to be removed. Clear coat under gives that room to make the correction without damaging the base coat. That is true. It's a very good point. I'm going to put that on screen real quick before it goes away. Sorry I missed that earlier. I'm trying to keep up. 6:10 p.m. Well, busy builder. That's no big deals. No big deals at all. Nice to have you as well. I missed you as the first time too. I didn't see that. I'm sorry. I'm trying to catch everybody as they pop in. It's all good. So sorry I missed you last week. I was out of town for training, and then we've also had nightmarish rain and flooding here in Washington. In some cases, record-breaking flooding, and we've had our first confirmed death associated with these floods, where somebody drove their car into deep water and ended up drowning. It's unfortunate. I just read that before the beginning of this broadcast. So please be safe, everybody. Don't think your car's got more ground clearance. If you see fast-moving water, just stay away from it. It's number 84. Okay, so that's the next one. Yeah, this is 4. Oops, I just cut straight through my book. Sorry if I go off camera here. I'm just trimming out a decal. I almost cut it open on top of the instruction booklet. I don't want to cut that all up. Just finished Minmay Guard VF1S Kit 2. Nice. It was interesting to try to get the missile pods on extended wings. Yeah, that is difficult. I did the same thing with my 172 Max build. And the only real way to do it is to reposition the angle of the shoulders. And so what I did is I cut the shoulder pin off, the pin that basically goes into the, from the shoulder piece into the body of the kit. And I changed that angle to angle them forward slightly so you can spread the wings. And that was my solution. All right, so this one goes all the way down. Yeah, it goes all the way down to here. I've got my little coffee cup warmer over here that's going to, especially Australia, yeah. By all means, yes, we need to keep them in our thoughts too. They had a horrible shooting there the other day. Okay, let me get this. I'm just going to lay this on here. I'll reposition it here in a second as soon as I get the. Now this supposed to go, yeah, just right about. So the first one is kind of lined up about halfway through this front light. So this is going to go down. It follows this front line, this panel line. It follows that line all the way down from where the basically the flaps would separate, the trim would separate forward from, even though these are very thin, they are kind of difficult to manage because they do want to wrinkle quite easily. So I'm trying to squeegee the water out, but also not get any unnecessary folds, and it's, yeah, I get it wet. If it doesn't go down straight, it creates a, there we go. Just takes a little bit of, finesse. I'll get back to the comments here in a second, guys. Just trying to get this. So if I miss something, I'm trying to get this straight before it stops moving and I'm not able to make any adjustments. Now what I'm doing is I've got a Q-tip here that if it starts to get out of alignment, I'm just I'm getting a little bit of water in the Q-tip and kind of pushing it under the decal so it lifts it up again and I'm able to move it around and readjust. And then I can go back and flatten it out. It's just too close to that line. I got to bring it away. Yeah, let's see what the problem is. It's kind of it's deviating away from where I need it. I needed to come off of that line a little bit. There we go. Please be patient, guys. I'll get back to the head, replace the shoulder pin, the bent styrene rod, and put a tube. That's pretty much kind of what I did. I just used actually a piece of the runner was the same diameter as the peg. So I was able to cut that off and just pinned a brand new piece at a different angle. That's what I did. It sounds like you kind of did the same thing. Let's see. What did I just miss? Is this kit the TV version? Yes, it is the TV version. It's not the ostrich, basically. No, this is the VF1D. It even has two small resin pilot figures, one for Hikaru and the other one for Minmei to go in which would be the pilot seat. You got there's a trainer, so the trainer would sit in the back, and they call it the what do they call it? You got the stud seat, which would be where the actual student would be sitting in the front, and you've got the instructor in the back. All right, now I've got that straightened out. I'm ready to put some softener on there. Small paintbrush with microsol makes pushing decals very easy. Yeah, that is true. We got here last week, I started watching the original series again. Yeah. It's kind of hard for me. I want to do the same thing, but when I go back and I watch the movie over again, it's like, gosh, the movie is, as far as the visual are so much higher quality, but it's understandable if you think about the TV version was, you got so many episodes and everything was mostly hand drawn. So there's quite a bit to difference though. The computer animation or the computer assisted stuff that they use in the movie made for some very nice looking visuals. It's corny and cheesy. Yeah, that is true. What's funny though is that the Japanese market, and this is the way it used to be. I have no knowledge if it is now, but they used to portray male characters as very, very chauvinist character, and that's just the culture. And So when if you hear the original dialogue, you're like, oh my God, some of the stuff they would say was just unreal. It's kind of funny. Okay, so I need to do, there are, looks like 2 more no-step decals on the back edges of the wing where the flaps are. And I bet you those are long too. They might even be a different color. I think they're red. Yeah, let me see. Number one is, it looks like 86. Okay, yeah, 86 is 2. And then there's an 85, which is 03. Okay, so there's actually 2, but they're both long strips. One has 2 no steps, and the other one's got 3. And that one's actually going to, the 3 will cross just behind the kite logo here. What did I miss? Not much. I imagine the TV series that had not targeted, but yeah, true, very true. Giovanni says, almost done with the MG Zeta 2.0. Nice, very cool. We got from what the Delta film showed, Mega is coming into the story, and a lady M who just happens to sing, of course. Seems to be a common theme with most of the Japanese series. Music is somehow involved, which is just fine. But I remember saying something to a friend of mine once. I was like, why do I have to sing all the time? And he's like, that's the point. I was just in it for blowing stuff up. I wanted to see action scenes and battle scenes and stuff like that. I didn't care much about the singing part initially, but it all makes sense now. So 86. This is a red no step. Well, the others were white against the orange background. Another long decal. The only thing I don't like about this part is because they are one solid decal. You have that thin material to create some silvering under. And no matter how hard you try, it seems like you end up getting a bit. So these have to face away from the wing. So I got to go this direction. They're almost musical sometimes. Yep. Very true. So these go centered on the 2 flaps. Because I've got this water warmed up, these decals release pretty quickly. I have to be careful because I did have one fold under on me, and it was a real pain to try to get off or get it to unroll. And of course, it rolls right where the no step writing is. So, it was just like, oh God. All right, so these go along the edge of the wing edge. I'm going to move this around with a Q-tip instead. Oops. Tried to slide it and I moved it right off. And in doing so, I almost created some silvering because I dragged it off the edge and got an air pocket underneath it. Damn it. I'm struggling here. Just be patient. Take your time. Oh, that one just tore. So now I've got to fix that hole. I think what I might do is just take this clear portion out. we'll make it work. So the decal tore right when I was moving it around. So what I'm going to do now is just basically kept both of the actual no step pieces on there, and now I'll just move those around into the position they should be. They just won't be connected like they were when they came off the sheet. They just have to make sure they go centered. They're centered right on these flaps. All right. I really need to sort this out here. Give me a sec, guys. I got to fix this. Sorry, got hungry. Nobody minds if you get hungry. Go eat. Man's got to eat. All right, we'll get this sorted here in just a second. As soon as I get this loaded. There we go. All right. Took a little bit of patience, but I was able to save that. It was just a little nerve-wracking there for a second. So now we'll do one final coat here. Now that I've got those down, I'm going to put some softener over this and let those blend a little bit while we get ready to cut out the next one. All right. Like I said, some very good cell shading. Thank you. Cell shading. Oh, yes. Thanks. I was thinking about Busy Builder there. Yeah, I did do several. I've done a Quedlin Row, a Max Bataroid, and the Orgus. That was for Old to Gold. I mean, if you want to see those real quick, I can pull them out. Not a big deal. Anybody want to see those on the screen real quick, or at least one of them? Show you my second or third attempt at cell shading. Just let me know in the comments and we'll do it. All right. So I got one more of those 3 no steps, and that's 85. It's also going to be a red decal here. This one has 3. Also helps to have a very sharp razor blade, which mine doesn't seem to be as well. You can wait. Don't lose the decal groove. No, the decals have been saved. I'm good there. Getting ready to put the next one on. And these also go in the same direction, which faces away from the front of the wing. You've only seen one of them, but don't get distracted from your decals. It's it's all right. It's no big deal. I'm not going to get distracted. I'm not going to just leave something in the middle. Believe me. I'll only bring them out once I've got to a stopping point. But I've got those on there. they'll be fine. Whoa, that almost floated away on me. Holy, I told you they come off the paper quick. Oh my goodness. This is unreal. All right. Okay. Come back to that. All right, give me a sec here. This is very delicate. Damn it. I'm going to try to fish this out of the water. Where'd my Q-tip go? Gotcha. Okay, very carefully. 1 second, guys. Go on to something bigger once I get these little ones out. These little ones are proving to be kind of a pain. One second. Gotcha. Oh, come on. Don't do that. Son of a bitch. Okay. This decal, this small little sliver that came off, has decided to roll over on me. So now I've got to lift it and turn it over so delicately here. That's why I've got these high-powered magnifiers on. All right, now that it's kind of in place, let's see if I can get everything corrected here. There. Whew, okay, what did I miss? Cell shading. Yeah. I see one of them. Blah blah blah. Hasegawa decals. Make kits are really stressful. Yeah, usually they're very good too. And the one, Nigel, the one thing that I remembered, especially from the Quayland Row kit, was that they were disastrous decals. Yes, I should be streaming next week. What does it say? Missed half your message there, I think, Giovanni. I should be streaming every week. That's the goal, but occasionally real life gets in the way, like training, and then also, wasn't even sure if it took me over 2 hours to get home the other day because of the traffic and the flooding and all of the measures, people having to go around because roads closures and stuff like that. Roads are just gone, bridges gone, sections of Highway 2 are completely gone. Most of the downtown Sultan area that I live in was underwater, and then there's a park and stuff like that. So, all right. So I think that's the last of the decals that go on the wing. Oh no, I've got one more. Those on around the tip. A little bit harder, but I'll see if I can bring this out so you guys can see that. So there we go. We got 5 of the red no steps, and then 5 of the white ones that will across the front of the wing. But yeah, this might be a good idea to take a break here for a second. The storm system is about to hit my area. Oh, where are you at? The next few days, we're getting leading edge now. Are you like Idaho or Oregon, or where are you at? If you don't mind sharing, you don't have to. But what I will do is I will go and I'm going to take a break because that was stressful. I'm going to pull out the Max battery here. Just real quick. Hopefully nothing goes wrong with this. So anyway, let me see. There we go. Get it all. That's closer than I thought with the. So this was my second attempt at cell shading. At the front, the back. I'm trying to hold them up here so you guys. There we go. The key is, I think, also to pick an angle, angle of light. Whatever angle you're going for, whichever direction you're going for. Like I was trying to do light from kind of like this direction, diagonally, front to back, but from right to left. So you've got more light over here and more dark around those areas that would be behind in shadows. I'm really especially happy with the chest. I think that came out really, really well. But this is what I was talking about. You can see the angle of the shoulders, like especially like this one here. You can see it's angled forward, and that gives space for those wings to expand. And I did the same with the other one, but because it's holding the gun a different way, it's still rotated down, but that's what I was making this pose for. You're talking about busy builders talking about when he comes into the ship, when he's doing his one-on-one duel with Miria, and he does that roll and transforms into Battleroid, and then it's kind of looking away from the door. My plan originally was to make that hallway scene with him landing on the ground like this, facing away from her and having her up above. I have that kit as well. And that was my first cell shaded, full cell shaded one. So I'll bring that over too. Set you back in the cabinet here. All right, 1 second. Subway. I don't think this one came out as well as the Max Bed, right? Because again, you make improvements on your techniques and stuff as you go. Show the back first. Actually, it might be easier to go to this look here. It's a little bit further away, but at least you can see the whole thing. It's such a big kit. Same idea with light, direction, this direction, right to left. Before I spill that. And I didn't use any of the markings on this only because they were just a nightmare, especially all the white markings. They didn't show up in the movie anyway, so I wasn't too worried about that. Detailed film hero, yep. I know DIY quite well. Yes, you do. I think I do as well. Maybe not as much as you, but definitely, that's definitely my passion. That's what got me into Japanese anime was Macross Rotec, whatever you want to call it. So I'm trying to bring this up so you can see it a little bit better, but so not quite as good, I think, as the Max version that I did. That one was better, but my plan was to put them in a hallway. But it was such a big, long, and involved project. I decided to, if I can do that, I'll do it later. The last one I've done in cell shading is the Orgus. This was from Old to Gold. There was a lot of customization to make this one. I might be able to go close up here. Let me just. Yeah, the suits are huge, especially at 172 scale, which is, they never used to make them in 172 because it was just so darn big. So here's the Orgus. This was a transformable kit, but I made it permanent in this mode. I filled in all the empty space around the body halves that were normally big, wide opening holes because it was made to fold up and the head go inside itself. But I really do like the way the cell shading. You can see how it's improved from kit to kit. Like the first one was the Quedlin Row, the Miria version, and the second one was the Max Padaroid. I also bought 2 more of the Quedlin Rows with Max and Miria, so I thought maybe I could do one with them together. But you can see there is quite a bit of difference as far as the quality of it. This kit was so old. The knee joint almost disintegrated during the build process just because it's so old. And this was built the kit was made in 83, I think. But I really like the way the body came out, especially with all the gap filling. There's really no gaps and stuff, and the shading worked out really, really well. Anyway, let me put you back, and we'll get back to some decals. Try not to knock it over. Like I said, the knee joint was so fragile on this thing. It just literally wanted to disintegrate. I tried to bend the knee and it just almost exploded. So I had to really be very careful during the rest of the build and posing and everything like that. All right, let me take one last look. What's interesting? Why is my screen so dang small? I just realized my screen is stupid small on my screen. I'm trying to figure out why that is. Let me go back here. There we go. No, why is it still tiny? Minimize. Huh. I don't know why the layout has all gotten tiny on my screen. I don't know why. I'm just looking at a really, really small. Interesting. If I go full screen, then I can't see comments. Anyway, what's interesting is Macross itself, both the TV series and the movie, didn't have a lot of typical shading. Down there, a lot less. Yeah, I guess so. Just sent a link. Interesting channel has done a couple of very cool Gundam action dioramas. Cool. Thanks, Nigel. I'll check my phone. I don't have I usually just put it on vibrate when I do the live stream, so I don't necessarily hear the notifications come through. Still trying to solve why this is so small. I'm going to remove myself for a second here. Just one. Oh, see, that's still tiny. Why is that? Doesn't make sense. Huh. Yeah, I usually have, when I got this window open, it's usually right up against the comments section, but for some reason, oh, you know what? Maybe that's what happened. I don't know. I can do the rest of the stream without changing anything. I'll have to sort it out later, but I don't know why it's so on small. I'm looking at a really tiny screen. I mean, my videos, the video portion of the stream is just this tiny thumbnail. I mean, it's not that small, but it's only like 3x5 when it should be 6x8. Because I got the rest of the, my camera dashboard on the side, and then I got the live stream on the other one. Something changed, it seems, in StreamYard that I've got to sort out, because let me see what's going on here. Cinema. No, that's all good. Huh. Just trying to mess with the layout here to see why it's giving me. I don't know why it's giving me such grief. Let's try that. Let's see. Oop. Nope. Let's see what that does. Does nothing. Well, you don't have a desktop. Well, that's fine. Everything's small because you're probably watching on your phone. I get that. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Oh, well, we'll have to deal with it later. Let's get back to decals. Let me look at this sheet one more time here. See if there's any silvering I've got to. I see a couple spots I got to handle here. Because even though no matter how smooth your surface is, especially with these really thin, clear decals, for some reason, you'll leave a little dot of silvering behind. After everything starts to dry, it's like you roll it out, you squeegee it out, and then as it starts to dry, all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's a little bit of silvering. So make sure you go back and address all those before you move on, because if you clear coat over that, that's going to be really hard to get rid of after you clear coat over it. What's up, Ken? Did you make it to work today? I didn't. My back has been destroyed lately, and I was really struggling today. Really having sciatic issues. Good to see you. Just fixing some silvering here. Not too much though, a couple little spots here and there. Or were you off today, Ken? You tell me. Damn technology. Yeah, exactly. I don't know what the hell the deal is. Because usually it fills up the whole portion where I'm at. I'm not understanding why. At least I remember it being larger. Maybe I'm hallucinating. I don't know. I have no idea why it's doing that. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know why. Huh. I've got no reason to. Ugh, now it even got smaller. What the hell did I just do? Maximize. I don't know. Maybe it's always been that way, and I just never noticed it until now. All right. So then, one of the most difficult decals to do here is the wingtip. You can really just paint this if you wanted to, but I'm going to try to use this. Worst case, it doesn't work out, and I end up having to paint it. I have a color that's really close. Basically, it's this little piece right here, and it goes around the top and the bottom of the wing at the same time. So you have to use quite a bit of softener and really take your time. So we're going to heat this up. Laptop from 8 years ago on an old phone. Yeah, it seems like it's time to get a new laptop maybe. Or you get your TV going, hooked up to the internet. You can just bring up YouTube on your TV or something. Maybe that'll work. So the first thing I am going to do is I'm going to just put down a good dab of some softener just to start this thing rolling. And I've had to do this. Every single Valkyrie kit that Hasegawa makes has these. All right, so you can see you start with it basically hanging off the edge, and then you got to wrap it around. It takes a little bit of time. Once the softener starts to kick in, it'll work, but you got to be very patient. All right, but because the top of the wing is going to be visually seen probably the most, I always want to make sure that I start with the top, get that surface nice and set. It's wanting to roll back on me. Once I get it around that edge, come on. I'll hold it with my tweezers here, and then it'll stay. There we go. Oh, almost had it. So I got to hold it here for a second. Let that softener do its trick. Yeah, you like 148. So do I. Especially even the Macross kits. I think I'm spoiled by 148. This scale is quite a bit more challenging because everything is so darn small. Okay, it's getting there. It's starting to soften up and starting to go around that corner. I'm basically just using the tweezers to bend it around and hold it. Now we got it. I think we got it to stick almost. Keep working it. So much fun to make sure decals don't fold over. Now I'm trying to make this one fold over because it has to go around. But now you see what I'm doing. There's the front edge, and then it flips over and goes around to the bottom edge. So it's stuck there now. I'm going to keep letting it sit here and soften. All I got to do, it won't take much, do some minor repositioning, but as long as you can keep it down on the bottom edge, and it only goes on one way. It's kind of a trapezoid shape because of the way the wingtip is designed. So it's just a matter of getting that first edge to stay and then rolling the bottom edge. Wow. That was probably the most trouble-free time I've had on doing one of those. I'm going to keep softening it up, though, because it's still going to want to... There's fairly quite a bit of ink on this particular decal, so it is kind of thick. So it will easily kind of spring out, flatten out again if I don't keep applying the softener to it. Try to reposition it and almost moved it way out. There we go. All right, we'll let that sit and dry for a second. The kits on Holiday in Japan are very good prices, but shipping from Japan, yeah. Well, shipping from Japan to anywhere is pretty bad, Nigel. Even coming to U.S., it's especially because I get impatient. I'm like, okay, I want it here now. I'm going to do FedEx like 2 days, and boy, it gets here in 2 days, but you'll pay for it for sure. If you're lucky to use their EMS shipping, it still gets here pretty quickly, but it's not too much cheaper, really. There's a panel line that this thing follows, so at least you've got kind of a guide. Yeah, this is going to take a while because it just has to dry. All there is to it. This is probably one of the most difficult. I thought this was actually an easier piece to put decals on, but it's proven to be a little bit challenging, especially with these really thin, no-step ones. If I think about it, what I may do is I'm used to the 148 kits where it's just one single decal. You don't have these 2s and 3s kind of glued together by a strip. I may end up just cutting the carrier film and putting them on individually. It's just easier to place one at a time than not having this strip that wants to keep wrinkling on you. And then it ended up tearing on me and folding over. And it's just proving to be more troublesome than it should be, I think. God, this color, the color of this decal is almost identical to the wing color. So it's almost like, why am I doing this again? A bit too much on the bottom there. I had pulled a little too much underneath. There we go. It's almost perfect. Once you get that softener to work, it's just amazing how easy it wants to stay in place. Once you get that initial bend to finally let go and just kind of fold over, softener definitely does its job. What's weird about those slime lights actually glow in a teal green. Slime lights, what are we talking about? Am I missing something? My hobby dealer has lots of delays with the wholesale orders last year, waiting 7 weeks for an order. Oh, who are we talking to? Who was I talking to? On one live stream, we were talking about the MGO that's supposed to come out. I still haven't got mine yet. You keep telling me it's like, oh, it's been delayed, whatever. Oh, you're the one that, well, you're talking about the one I'm putting on now, the decal, or the actual light, because this is a clear piece that pops in here and you have to clear coat it with a clear blue or red, depending on what side you're putting it on. Or the wingtip, that's called a slime light? Interesting. If that's the one I'm putting on, huh? Oh, yeah. And don't they have 2 on the side of the cockpit too? Is that the same thing? Like 2 on each side is like little thin strips, if I'm not mistaken. Well, this turned out great because I just let it dry and it just smoothed out beautifully. I don't think I have to let it do anything. I'm just going to let it dry. Okay, so that wing is pretty much done. That took a whole freaking hour to do one wing, but we did do some show and tell in between there, so I'm not going to feel guilty about it. All right. We got a few to put on here. We might as well bring this guy down and we'll do this next. So this is the top body. And you spend a lot of time doing panel lines on this, but some of these are covered up by black decals. We put a lot of the real world details. Well, yeah, I mean, he based it off of the F-14 fighter jet. I mean, that was the first thing I noticed was the F-14. Number 2 goes on the right-hand side. So, yeah, a lot of similarities. I remember I saw him at Anime Expo in Los Angeles one year, and I was trying to get him to sign my launch diorama. And unfortunately, I didn't. He ran late on his panel, and then we got sent in opposite directions when they had us clear out the room because they were trying to get ready for the next panel. And I never got to have him sign it, only to find out he was right around the corner. Had I gone around, I'd have been able to see him, but can't remember where I was going with that. He was talking about, how he thought, he was told by so many people that nobody cares about jets. They're not going to want to watch this series. He was talking about jets that transform, and it was just like, no, it's not going to work. They were telling him over and over again that it was waste of time. Look how successful it turned into. Got permission from the depth of the Navy to use black and yellow with the skull and crossbones. Oh yeah, the Jolly Roger. We had to have that. I mean, there's no way. Just no way. Had to have that guy. Okay, I gotta move this just a bit. Squeegeed it out, but it deviated on me just ever so slightly. See if I can get that underneath it. There we go. Make it movable again. All right, let it sit for a sec. Meanwhile, we'll cut out the other side. You see the difference. I mean, I like that. It makes it easier. I mean, some of these things I would mask off, but just that little black detail versus masking off those little trapezoids. If you got decals and they work, they're easy enough. I mean, if they're not terribly complicated, complex curves and stuff, making masking a nightmare, by all means, use the decal. This is the part that I like the most on any kit. It really starts to come together. A good way to change panel line color. Let's put this on screen. Panel line color for different base colors. Use a dot of liquid masking fluid. The boundary of the color change. Oh, then gray wash. Huh, interesting. Would never thought of that. Black paint surfaces are still have black wash. Oh yeah, I used I'll even use gray panel line wash sometimes on a black surface just so you can still see the panel lines. I mean, why waste it? Those panel lines are there. They really highlight a kit, so why not use them? And that's 2. Now this one's probably been here long enough. I can roll it. Yep. Now we're going to just soften that up. Sometimes you'll see me, I'll put softener on, but it kind of pools. Even though some of it does soak in, I'll just take the corner of my towel here and just kind of wick it off, because there's no sense leaving a big ball there, especially on a clear decal or a clear carrier film, because it'll just dissolve that carrier film, and then you end up with a surface that's not very smooth. Have a good night. Watch Stuff to Work. I'm going to watch Fallout. Nice. Yeah, I did hear that just second season open up. I'll have to check it out myself. All right, Busy. Thanks for stopping in. Talk to you soon. All right. Did he ever say where he was from? I don't know if he did. Or did he? And I just forgot because I'm old. I don't remember. He was talking about the storm. You celebrate Christmas next Wednesday, so by the time the live stream starts, I'll be a little drunk. Well, I'm sorry I missed that, Giovanni. That's why you were asking if I'm going to be on next week. I guess, yeah, next week, Thursday would be Christmas Eve, wouldn't it? I guess it would be a good time to do a show. I'm not going anywhere, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think he ever said where he was from. Yeah, no big deals. Okay. You know, our company's weird. They don't do Christmas parties. They do employee appreciation celebration or whatever, and it's always on. It's like this year. I think it's what. Gosh darn it! Every time I go to roll this, it fucking moves on me. So they do it in the middle of the year, like February or March or some weird time. I don't know why. I think they got tired of trying to book a place for a venue during the holiday season. Everybody's booking venues, so they just gave up on that and decided, well, we'll just do a party in the middle, early part of the year, but not before February, which is kind of whatever. Oh, if Giovanni's still here. I wasn't going to ask this question. I was going to ask you something. I thought, I'll just do it. You got 4 choices, I think. I was looking at these decals, and we were talking about actually three choices. So on the tail fins, there is markings of what squadron there or what ship they're assigned to. So my question to you is, do you want Prometheus? Do you want them to say SDF-1, or do you want them to say Armored 1? You tell me. I was thinking Prometheus because that's just cool, but again, this is your kit, and you tell me whatever you want, and we will make that happen. I'll have a beer for everyone that's going to be here on Wednesday. Nice. Christmas myself this year wasn't able to get the car fixed in time, so you have to see your mom next year. That's a bummer. Yeah. My son just bought his first house. I'm not sure if we'll be going down there. They just moved into it last week or the week before, so I'm not sure if they'll have it ready to have people over. We'll see. Let me know, Giovanni. And the comments are, if you want, you can send me a PM too. That's fine. Oh, cool. I just picked up another sub from Busy Builder. Nice. Love it. So that makes 482. So now we're 18 more to 500, guys. That's all we need. But then that's just part of the challenge. Then after that, I've got to get a lot of hours, a lot of watch hours in order for it to really start to matter. So right along the edge of this black panel, there is a panel line, so it created a tiny bit of silvering under that, where that panel line is, just from the carrier film. So I had to kind of just barely grab that edge. I'm just pushing this down because there are 2 little panel lines on top, and I want this decal to sink into those as well, so we don't lose that surface detail, even though it's covering up the whole thing. There's still a groove there that we want to see under that black. All right, cool. Those came out nice. I like the way that looks. Almost don't want to fix the overboost issue on my car. It's really damn fast at the moment. 18, 13, geez. Yeah, 18 PSI. I mean, a lot of stuff in the US normally is around 15, so. Well, I know what we'll do next. We'll do two of these circles. These are those basically exhaust thruster vents. They use just hot air basically, and when you're out of atmosphere for maneuvering, stuff like that. So we were talking about these before. They're just round circles with that crossbar in them, and they'll go on the edges here. Those are where those are, one on each side. And that will fill in that, even though I panel lined it, I did that so it leaves a nice good outline. So once we put these on, they'll settle in there nicely. We'll soften them up, and they'll press down into that groove. And these are directional because that crossbar has a little bit of a fatter end on one side, so they do go one direction. Once we get those in there, settled in there, and softened up, they will sink right down into that groove and just be nice. And you'll see what I'm talking about when I get this on. Yeah, so we go from that, right, with it open, to that. I mean, you could go through if you wanted to and reverse wash it. It would work, but it's so much easier just to put one of these decals on and soften it up. And the 148 kits actually come with, you've got to actually glue that crossbar in there. They're large enough where they have an individual piece for that little bar. So there's an actual thruster bell in there that you can almost see. So they're a little bit nicer. The smaller stuff, you've got to use these decals on. All right, so I'm going to flip this around so I can get the other side started. There we go. Let that soften up. I'm going to need more. I do a little bit of softener, press it in there, a little more, press it down. Just keep doing that. Just apply a little bit, let it soften some up, press it down. You can almost fill that up because it's like a little bucket. So I just fill it up with that solution and let it really slip down in there. Because black, of course, is very ciders for me, huh? Nice. I like a good cider. Used to have a nice Cider Place in Bothell, their tasting room's closing now because the state is making it so hard for small businesses to do business, like taxing the crap out of them. A lot of businesses are either leaving or closing the majority of their operation. They can't do, the operating costs are just too high. So they're closing. I think they have a bunch of tasting, not all of them are in Washington. They got a bunch of tasting rooms, but they're closing 3 of the 5, I think, in Washington. I'm just letting this set for a second so I can press it down. Normally, I wouldn't recommend touching a decal, with after you put softener on it. But these are strong enough. But also, I want them to get down into that hole pretty substantially. So it's necessary to kind of continue to apply pressure to it. And you'll see it once it finally really sinks down in there. It will almost look nothing like, it'll just look like paint. And then the edges will lay down too, because that's just the thin carrier film, so that will lay down on its own. You don't have to worry about that so much. It's just trying to get it down into that well. Okay, one more. At least one more here. Just on edges. Okay, let that sit for a second. Now we have quite a few markings that need to go on top. I don't think we're going to get them all done tonight. We've got, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 more that just have to go just on this top piece alone. And some are like little hook locations for, picking the aircraft up. Some are, warnings for the intake, warning arrows that go for these intakes. And then there's a few smaller, couple of nose steps along the back edge, but then a few smaller emblems and stuff that go around. Oh, there's one more I missed, so that's another one. So that'll be 11, but you're not even really going to see that. I may not even put that on because it goes right on top of this back piece, but then the whole backpack lays right on top of it. It's really kind of pointless. You're never going to see it. Cheap viewers. Oh, here we go. So show everybody how I'm getting spammed by Twitch again. Here we go, guys. Cheap viewers, remove.com, remove blah, 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 blah. Yeah, not interested. Say that every time. You guys try to spam me every time I stream. And if I do it on what's the other one? Kick. Kick's even worse. That's why I haven't started streaming on Kick again. I did it a few times. Kind of switch between that and Twitch, because Twitch is more just for lack of a better place to stream to. It's primarily I'm more interested in YouTube and Facebook, but because of the service I pay for, I can stream to 3 different locations simultaneously. So I just picked Twitch, and then Kick came out, so I tried that, but not really impressed by either one, to be honest. I built both 30-second F4s and F15. Oh my God, they're covered with data decals. Yeah, like freaking millions of them. I know. It's like doing your first unicorn, master grade unicorn gun, and when you've got a decal, a marking like every 10 millimeters, there's a freaking label somewhere. It took forever. So, okay, we're going to let these settle for one more time here. I'm just going to let this dry completely and see if I've got any edges that need to be a little bit applied. Hopefully these will lay down once they completely dry. The edges are what I'm talking about. They're just kind of wrinkled, but I think that's just because the softener is doing its trick. Yeah, I think we're really okay. And then once I just touched it with this, and it just kind of disappears almost instantly. So once all the softener evaporates away, and it should lay down without an issue at all. And then these will look really nice once we do our final, sealing everything, do our final flat coats. It's going to look superb. Okay. I don't think there's anything back there. No, nothing on the tail piece. Nothing there. Actually, there is one there. Oh, no, it's on the other side. Nigel, you never answered me, did you? Did you say you want Prometheus, or do you want SDF1 or Armored One for the ship assignment? Did I say Nigel? I meant Giovanni. I said Nigel, didn't I? Giovanni, do you want Prometheus, SDF1, or Armored One? RMD, ARMD one. So is on the SDF1, the movie version, you have the armored 10s that basically the arms, the lower arms of the ship itself is the RMD. Yeah, I know. That's what I meant. I realized I said Nigel. I meant Giovanni. Do you want Prometheus, or SDF1, or it's actually labeled ARMD1, or the Armored One? Have you guys seen my SDF1? I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. That was my first attempt at fiber optics, and boy, was that a fun adventure. I think we're just about done here because I'm not going to be able to get another one done. I think I'm going to make sure these last little spots are sinking in nicely, and then we'll finish up. Just the last thing I'm doing here is just cutting in the edges of those panel lines where these black spots are, because just where the carrier film is, it's a tiny bit of just a dot of silvering. That's good. Armored, okay. And then we use ARMD. Nice. It is official. Yeah, the thing is, it basically goes on this portion of the folded wing. They go like this in this picture here, so they're about basically at the back end, right where the other piece folds on. It's gonna be a little bit difficult to see, but they'll be there. You will be able to see them if you look in the right place. that's where those little 102s go. There's some really tiny ones that go right on the wingtips of this folded wing section here. This guy. So you got this little folded wing section. There's a tiny, goes on the top, so it'll be on this side. This is the side facing up when they're folded. It's basically folded over like this, somewhere around here on the back under the backpack. But then you'll have little tiny 102s right in that those tan fields right at the top. And then I also need to paint those little wingtip lights red. Those tail lights are they're actually tail lights. They're red. So that's easy. I'll just throw some clear red over that and I'll finish that off nicely. These are sinking in really good. Have any issues here? Might have a tiny bubble there, a little poke. Take care of that. We'll see how the other side is here. Let me roll this one out even more. I'm really putting some good pressure on this thing to get it to sink down in there nice. And then if I do see a little bubble, especially under the black, can't see that it's not silvering, it's just you can see a little bit sticking up. Give it a little poke and then roll over it with this. Done deal. All right, so for that much, that's where we're at right now. I'm going to keep doing decals this week and see if we can get all those done. Got a few touch-ups. I did find I fixed them already, but there was when I had everything painted and I was getting ready to gloss coat these leg sections, I found a seam, a visible seam on the back. And I was just like on both of them. I thought, how did I miss that? I don't know how I missed it, but anyway, I went back over. I had to sand it briefly and mask everything off and repaint that section. So those are all good to go now. Both legs are done. The lower forearms are all painted. I've got the glass piece here masked off so I can freely paint without having to worry about that. I was trying to put individual pieces of masking tape to kind of build a perimeter. It was a pain, but I just put a piece over it, had a very sharp razor, cut it out very carefully, and that piece will come off when I'm done. But then this only has 2 decals, same of those little exhaust vents that go on there, and then those will be ready for final gloss and flat coat. Yeah, and then it's just a bunch of small markings everywhere. I mean, you can kind of see the sheet here. There's not a bunch of large markings. You've got the big jet intakes. Oh, that's something I want to show you guys too, because this is kind of cool with these legs being finished. You've got the lights in back there. I can get it to focus. Those lights there in the heel, basically above the heel. And then in there is the intake. You can see that right inside, just below the knee. Not sure how much you're going to be able to see when everything's put together. And then another cool thing is basically the head here, which is all assembled. I really like the way that came out. Looks very nice. I got just one decal. It's got to go on the top of that, and then that's pretty much done deal. So, all right, boys. I wish could be paid $65 an hour to build models. Yeah, that would be nice. Good thing commission builds are not charged by the hour. Yeah, I've talked to guys. In fact, when I was talking about starting or considering a commission, when I was asked to do the first time, you never go into this thinking, oh, I'm going to do commission builds, and that's all I'm going to do. But this is a hobby. It's supposed to be a hobby, right? And you never go into it thinking you're going to do commissions all day long. But it's nice if that's what you want to do. Some people don't want to build; they just want to build for themselves, and I get that. And I prefer to not be doing commissions continuously. I think it's nice to be able to just have a casual build. But You're right. And I asked, one of the guys I asked was who lives in Texas. He has an actual rate that he tries to figure into every build, and I don't know how you can do that because I do this in my spare time. I would have to have a stopwatch, on the desk every time if I was going to just sit back and click the watch and then add up the hours. But yeah, it would be way less. It would be way more expensive, I think, for the client if I did it that way. I just try to think about what I will put into it. If sometimes most of the time, sometimes I do, not all the time, but sometimes I'll throw in little extra cool things that I think of that make me happy while I'm doing the build. It's not necessarily, I don't have to worry about charging anybody for it. It's like, oh, I think I'll just add this little, cool little detail or something as a gift. Like when I did the Perfect Grade Millennium Falcon build, that was about, I want to think 7 years ago, 7 or 8 years ago. I was at Pinnacle Sonata, so yeah, about 7 years ago. I put in little hoses for the landing gear, things like that, the landing gear wells that weren't there, just to make it look like those hydraulic lines and stuff that were hanging down that you see on all the screenshots and stuff. So yeah, just things like that I'll do sometimes when I think about it while I'm doing a build. But I try to just think of, depends on what they do. Are we weathering the kit? Or is it going to be custom base or a diorama or something like that? Or most of the time it's just building just the kit. I haven't done a lot of base work. Most people don't ask for, elaborate bases. They just really want just the kit. In this case, we'll be doing a hanger type base. It's a mechanical looking base. It's kind of cool. I've got a few base kits. I got an extra one that we're going to use for this one. So on average, let's see what Nigel's saying here. On average, single engine 32 scale aircraft would charge about $250, $100 an hour to build. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, I don't have a rate. If somebody asks me to do commission, I'll go through the questions I have for them as far as what they want. I give them a price. If they don't want it, move on. I don't have to worry. I don't have to negotiate. It's like, it is what it is. I charge what I think I'm worth, and if you want to pay for that, that's great. If not, I don't have a problem with somebody saying, what, that's, most of the time people don't realize how meticulous, some people are. And I think myself is included in that group. I'm pretty meticulous. This one has had its challenges, and I've not built a 72 scale for a while. So I've noticed I got kind of spoiled by the 148s. It's just easier to work with that bigger stuff. But, I will say that I did underbid that Millennium Falcon quite a bit. After building it, I was like, I got to charge more. But no big deals, lesson learned. So yeah, I just, thanks, Juggernaut. Appreciate that, Julius. Yeah, so I just think about, what I think material cost would be. Some guys will try to figure out what the labor is plus materials and then add all that in. I have enough paint and supplies that I figured this is how much I'll charge, and that's what it is. And if I think I undercharge myself, that's on me. Most of the people, in fact, I think everybody that I've ever built for has been very, very satisfied. So I'm happy about that, and that's the most important thing. Always change what you're worth. Always charge what you're worth. Yeah. Not everyone has the required skill. Yeah, I guess you're right. Or some people just don't have the time. I mean, that's one thing. But anyway, neither here nor there. All right, guys, let's go down the list here. I got a big list tonight. So I'm assuming Nigel was in way early. Way early. Like 4 hours early, almost 3 hours early, over 3 hours. Then we had Giovanni right in, close second, right after that. And Julius. Then we had Wolfpack, and then Busy Builder. Thank you, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you, every time you guys join in. Amazing. Hello. Yes. Good to see you. Good to see all you guys. And I think that was pretty much the majority of what we had for the entire stream as far as people that chimed in. yeah, the best thing you guys can do or to help me out is just hit the like button and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. I'm trying to get to 500 right now. We're at 482, I think, if I check. But anyway, yeah, the best thing to do, and I'll also check out the YouTube shorts. I've been putting a lot of photo shorts up there with a lot of the previous builds. So I'm at 25 shorts right now. I'm going to keep putting up a couple every week, maybe no more than 3 a week, but every couple of days or every few days at least. Once they get over about 1,000 views, I'll throw the portion up. But basically, taking the photos that I have taken over the years and putting them into lumps. I can do like 25 photos at a time maximum. So put all those into a video short. Those and check those out too. Comment on videos help. Yes, it does. Yeah, comments and shares, of course. I mean, we're asking a lot there, but you guys can, whatever you can do, all help. So anyway, thank you guys so much. Be good humans. We'll catch you on the next one. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody.